big question ahead of Euro 2024 fantasy is which midfielders you should be picking for your team. Welcome to FPL Mate, my name is Dan, and we're going to be rating and slating some of the most popular midfield picks, who you should be picking and who you should be avoiding. Let's get started. Yes, guys, another tier list video today. We are going to be doing the midfielders, the most popular midfielders at time of recording. We're going to be going through 30 midfielder picks today, so we're on for a big one. Guys, we also did a forwards video. If you want to check that out, please do go and check out the forwards version of this video. And if you like this one and you like the forwards one, let me know if you'd like to see defenders and goalkeepers as well. We could potentially do them before the Matchday 1 deadline. But guys, we need to get started because we've got a lot of players to get through. And starting off, we're going to go for De Jong. 30th most popular midfield pick at time of recording. I'm going to put him in the avoid category because he's had a lot of injury problems. He's still not fully fit at the moment, and he's not really a big goal scorer or even an assister for the Netherlands either. So he can go straight in that position. Next up, we're going to go for kvaratskhelia. I really do struggle with these Georgian names. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's call him Kvara. Everyone calls him Kvara anyway in the world of football. So let's stick with that one. He's going to go in the solid category. He is the talisman for his team. He got 4 goals and 1 assist during 9 qualifying games, which is pretty decent. He is on corners, free kicks, possibly penalties, but unlikely. Check out the penalty video if you want to. And the group is pretty good as well. He's got Turkey up first, then Czech Republic, and then Portugal to finish off the first round of fixtures. So Matchday 1 and 2, not bad fixtures for him. Don't mind him. Next up, Kingsley Coman. Think we have to put him down in the risky category. 2 goals and an assist in qualifying, which is not too bad, but they were all against Gibraltar, and there is some rotation risk with Dembele. Therefore, he is definitely risky, and if we're being a little bit more harsh, maybe we could even stick him in a void category, to be fair. So let's put him in there for now. We're going to go for another Frenchman now. It is hzfCWh. Now, he is nailed, so he should be getting a good game time, but he only got 1 goal and 1 assist in qualifying. He scored once in the last World Cup against England, but we don't want to talk about that one too much right now. He does, however, average 5.33 ball recoveries per game. As we know, in Euro Fantasy, you do get 1 point for every 3 ball recoveries, so tackles and interceptions. So hzfCWh can definitely get points in that way, and at 6 million, it's not such a bad price tag for him. If you're looking super cheap, you're looking for a player who will occasionally get an attacking return and will get those ball recovery points, he's a solid cheap option in a fairly tough group that France do have, but decent opening fixture against Austria. Next up, Declan Rice. I think we probably put him somewhere between solid and risky. I think I'm personally probably going to put him in risky. Similar situation to hzfCWh. Probably scores and assists less than hzfCWh in fairness, but he does produce 6.13 ball recoveries per game, so that's actually a little better than hzfCWh. Just 1 goal in qualifying for him. He did take a couple of corners, but I'm not expecting him to be a main corner taker for England in the same way as he is for Arsenal. And therefore, I think it's a little risky, particularly if you want to go for some other England players. Do you want Declan Rice taking up one of your England spots when there are so many great England options to go for this World Cup fantasy game? Next up, Kimmich. Think he is probably an avoid for me. Obviously, Germany didn't play any qualifiers because they qualified for the Euros automatically as hosts. He doesn't really score or assist very often. He may take some corners. He could be okay. The opening fixture is pretty decent. A decent group for Germany, but I'm not sure I'd really want to go there, to be honest. So I'm going to stick him in the avoid category. And next up, another 6.5 million midfielder. I know a lot of you guys are looking for midfielders around the 6.5 million price tag, and it's going to be Çalhanoğlu, who I think is another slightly risky player. Now, there's some things I like about Çalhanoğlu a lot. He's on penalties, he is on free kicks, he is on corners, so everything, all of those set pieces are going to go to Çalhanoğlu. However, no attacking returns whatsoever in qualifying, and only 3.57 ball recoveries per game for a defensive midfielder is not great. That's looking like he'll maybe get 1 ball recovery point per game, I guess, compared to hzfCWh and Rice, who are more likely to get like 2 ball recovery points per game on average. So he's going to go down in there. Opening fixture is decent against Georgia, but after that, he does play Portugal. So just be aware of that if you are looking at picking Çalhanoğlu. But at least you do have set pieces from him. That is one redeeming quality that he does have. Next up, Dani Olmo. I think he has to go in solid. Tough opening games against Croatia than Italy, so I don't like the fixtures. He has struggled with injuries this season, but he's had 3 goals in 4 appearances since the World Cup against some tough teams as well. It's difficult to judge how nailed he is. Maybe use the opening fixtures to judge whether you're going to go for Olmo in the 3rd game, where Spain have a slightly easier fixture against Albania. But for now, we're going to call him solid because he's definitely been a reliable asset in the past, and 7.5 million is a pretty good price tag for a Spain attacker, presuming he is as nailed on as he has been in the past. Next up, Bernardo Silva, risky, and the reason he's risky is because if you spend just 0.5 million more, you can get Bruno Fernandes. And we're going to talk about him very, very shortly. We're going to talk about him later on in the video, but certainly for the sake of 0.5 million, are you really going to go for Bernardo? I'm not sure if you are. 3 goals, 4 assists in qualification. That is good. He is on some corners, but the difference in price, unless you're going for both Silva and Fernandes, I don't really know how you're going to be able to afford both of those players. But unless you're going to do that, then you just go for Fernandes. You don't go for Bernardo. So he's going to stay there. Next up, Barella. Maybe solid. Yeah, pretty decent at 7 million. He is nailed on. He is a set piece taker. He'll be taking some corners and free kicks for Italy. He is a good creative man. 4 assists in qualifying. At 7 million, he is maybe slightly more expensive than I would hope. If he was 6.5, I think we'd be putting him higher up in the rankings, but I think he's solid at 7 million. Decent price. Next up, Gula, really hyped up pick. You guys are not going to like me for this because I know a lot of people are looking for just any midfielder that costs 6 million or less, and they've automatically gone for Gula. He's only ever started twice for Turkey. He did score once in a sub appearance against Wales, but I think he's just too risky, even at that price. I don't know if he's going to produce the goods, to be honest. I do slightly prefer Çalhanoğlu if you are going to go for a Turkish midfielder. Which brings us to another young player who is obviously full of hype, but maybe a bit too risky again. Cole Palmer. Only actually ever had 2 appearances for England. Both of those were substitute appearances as well. Sadly, he is probably just not first choice with all of the quality at England at the moment. He's not going to have penalties in the same way as he does for Chelsea as well. So there's a lot of risks around Cole Palmer. I'm not sure if I'd be willing to take that, even at 7.5 million, slightly cheaper than some of the other England midfielders. I don't think I'd go there. Do we really think he's going to start? If he does, is it going to be every game? Probably not. More likely a player used from the bench, so I don't think he is going to be a particularly important Euro fantasy pick. But happy to be proven wrong. If Palmer can start getting some game time, amazing. And then we'll quickly change our minds on that and we'll move with the information. But right now, the information we have is not good regarding Palmer and England. But things can change fast. Young player, things change fast with these young players. Next up, Gundogan. I think he's risky. I do think he's risky. Yes, he is a penalty taker for Germany, but just 1 goal and no assists in 9 appearances since the World Cup. He is likely to be on penalties, but he's a little difficult to justify him at 7 million. I think you could do a little bit better in terms of value for money there. Next up, Jorginho. I definitely think he is a solid pick. But the main reason why Jorginho is a solid pick is because he's only 5 million. Now, he's another likely penalty taker. Previously, in the last couple of years, Belotti and Immobile have been taking penalties for Italy. But given that neither of those 2 forwards are in the Italy squad, you would imagine maybe penalty duties go back to Jorginho. Historically, he has a good record, particularly at club level. He's like 80% nailed, I would say, Jorginho. 1 assist in the March friendlies, nothing in qualifying. Ball recovery numbers, not great, 2.67 per qualifier, but you will not find a better pick for 5 million. You really won't. A potential penalty taker playing for one of the top teams. Very, very cheap price tag there. I think he has to go in solid based on his price tag, mainly. Next up, Toni Kroos. Maybe solid, maybe risky. Yeah, I just think a lot of these Germany midfielders are quite risky. At least with Kroos, you do have a set-piece taker. He did score in each of the last 2 friendlies, so he's not bad for 6.5 million. Maybe we can bump him up slightly. Should we put him in solids? Yeah, I think we put him maybe low-tier solid option there. He's not bad. He's certainly not bad. Next up, Trossard. I think we put Trossard in the avoid category here. I think we're going to shove him down here. Yeah, sorry, Trossard. There is some rotation risk there. Just 2 goals in qualifying, and they were against Estonia and Azerbaijan. 8 million, though, is just way too expensive for Trossard, a player who is not guaranteed to start games, and I think we can get much better value for money than 8 million for Trossard. It's a bit of a shame, really. I think if about 7 million would have been a nice price tag for Trossard, and at 7 million, I think we'd have more to say about him. They've just overpriced him in this Euro fantasy game, and therefore it's just very, very difficult to suggest him as an option. Next up, McTominay. Can we put McTominay in solid? I think we can. Scottish fans of football, you're going to be pleased with this one. 7 goals and 1 assist in qualifying, as you will well know. The opening fixture is against Germany, however. But don't think too badly about that. I actually think Germany are a team that can be got at. I wonder if Scotland can get a goal in that game. And McTominay is going to be, a main contender for a goal against Germany for that Scotland team, because he was the top scorer for Scotland during qualifying. So if you're a big fan of Scottish football and you fancy a punt on a Scottish man, McTominay is probably going to be your guy. Next up, Sane. Risky pick, this one. I actually think if he was guaranteed to start, he would be at least a solid pick, because at 7 million, that's really nice. But in reality, he's probably only around 75% nailed on at right wing or at second striker. 2 goals and an assist in the friendly since the World Cup. That's not too bad, but it's just that small bit of rotation risk makes me put him in the risky category. Not totally convinced by this one, so we're going to shove him in there. Next up, Modric, the absolute Croatian legend of football, definitely at least solid. Yeah, you've got to put him in a solid category. Free kicks, corners, sharing penalty duties with Kramaric most likely. However, no goals and no assists in qualifying. He did score 1 goal and get 2 assists in the Nations League semi-finals against Netherlands. 2 assists against Egypt in the March friendlies. 7.5 million is a pretty decent price tag. And the only reason I think I can't put him any higher than this is the 7.5 million price tag. I think he is well priced, but 7.5 million for a player who is about to play Spain, not for me. I don't think I can do it. Spain, man, it's Spain. Tough fixture. Right, we're going to start putting some players higher up in the rankings, and we're going to start off with Saka. Great pick. Definitely a great pick. 4 goals, 3 assists in qualifiers. That is the second best scorer during qualifiers for England. He is the second best attacking option from England, in my opinion, because he is producing results consistently. I think 8.5 million is a very good price for him. As we know, the other England forwards and midfielders, who we're going to speak about shortly, are more expensive than Saka, and therefore I think Saka edges it. Better returns, better price. What's not to love? Love him. Great pick, definitely. Easy. And that's not even my Arsenal bias shining through. He really, really is. Next up, we've got a really, really interesting one. Now, 4.5 million Schmid. Dominic Schmid, 15% owned. 15% of the Euro Fantasy managers have Schmid in their team. 4.5 million legend. You're probably thinking, wow, who is this guy? I'm intrigued. Unfortunately, he's going right to the bottom because he's not even in the Switzerland squad. I think what's happened here is that because he's like 4.5 million, that's the cheapest a midfielder can possibly be in Euro Fantasy. Few people have said, I don't really fancy putting players on my bench. By the way, guys, you should definitely invest in your bench. Watch the rules video on this channel if you don't know why, but basically you can sub players on during the match day and get points from your sub players as well. So you want to have money on your bench. You don't want to just be going for some random 4.5 million midfielder. Schmid is not even in the squad. The reason he is so highly owned, I think, is because he was cheap. Some people threw him in just to try and save money, cut corners on their bench, and then that kind of escalated and became a bit of a snowball effect, and more people just picked the highest owned 4.5 million midfielder. Some people just pick who are the most popular players and just pick those for their fantasy team. I know a lot of people do play fantasy football that way and have just landed on him, and that's why he's so popular. But he's a terrible pick because he's not even in the squad. But shout out, Dominic Schmid. Hadn't heard of you as a player previously, but after seeing your popularity in Euro Fantasy, you've become a bit of an unsung hero of the fantasy game, and a lot of people would be singing the name Dominic Schmid in their Euro Fantasy team, even if you're not at the tournament. So congratulations to you for a moment of fame there, I suppose. Right, next up, Dominic Szoboszlai. Great pick. Love this pick. Penalties, free kicks, corners, talisman for his team. 4 goals and 4 assists during qualification. A goal in each of the March friendlies. He's got an opening fixture against Switzerland. This is everything you can hope for and dream of for a 7 million player. That is a great price for him, and I actually do fancy Hungary to qualify in second in the group stages, which means I think they're going to get some results, and if they are, it is going to be szoboszlai who is getting the fantasy points. Straight in there, easy, done. Love it. Love it. This is a really interesting one as well. Xavi Simons. I've got to put him in the risky category. I have to. This is actually a really interesting one because he could take some corners if he starts. No goals, no assists in his 13 games so far for the Netherlands. And some fans of the Dutch team think that if the Netherlands line up with a back three, then Simons actually misses out and doesn't even start the games. So depending on the formation and system that the Netherlands use, Simons is not even guaranteed to start. So he's super popular in Euro Fantasy, but because of the system situation and, well, the fact that he hasn't really produced for the Netherlands so far in his career, I can't put him any higher than risky. Unfortunately, guys, I know he's going to be popular. I know a lot of people out there will have him in their team right now. I don't think it's the one. I don't think it's the one. Next up, Musiala. Musiala, I think, is a solid pick. Definitely a solid pick. He has 1 goal and 2 assists in 7 friendlies since the World Cup. That's not too bad. 8.5 million is a little bit expensive compared to the other Germany attackers. I'm not sure he gives you a huge amount more, but you get a nailed-on attacker. You get a very, very good player, a promising and upcoming player who has produced some results for the Netherlands, more so than Gundogan, more so than Kimmich, and is more nailed-on than Sane. So in that sense, he is a better pick. Just that price tag does put me off, and I don't think I could put him more than solid because of that price tag. Next up, Kevin De Bruyne. I think he's another great pick. He's been injured for a lot of the last year, as we know. In March, he did score and assist twice in a friendly against Germany. He's on free kicks, corners, feeding one of the best strikers in international football history. Yes, I am talking about Lukaku. If you don't believe me, that's fine. Lukaku is one of the greatest strikers in international football history. My mind will not be changed on that. Just go and look at his record. Trust me, he is nuts. And also, De Bruyne, great group fixtures. Slovakia, Romania, Ukraine. Love it. Great pick. Like De Bruyne. Going to be difficult for a lot of people to afford him, but if you can manage to get him in, brilliant. I would say have at least one of De Bruyne or Lukaku. I would say, yeah, one or the other. I think that's going to be great. Next up, Bruno Fernandes. Must have. Yes, Bruno Fernandes must have. Great fixtures versus Czech Republic, Turkey, and then Georgia. He is a free kick taker. He is a corner kick taker. He is on penalties when Ronaldo isn't on the pitch. 6 goals and 8 assists during the qualification round. That is the best of any midfielder playing at the Euros, well, who is listed as a midfielder in Euro Fantasy. Anyway, he also has 3.5 ball recoveries per game. So not only is he going to be getting you goals and assists, he's also going to be making ball recoveries. He's also going to be a huge contender for 3 points for the man of the match each game. All in all, he is just elite. This is the one. This is the midfielder you need to go for. No doubt about it. For me, must have. If anyone disagrees with me on that one, love to hear your thoughts on why he isn't a must have. But for me, absolutely has to be. Let's move on to some other top picks here because we're going into the most popular picks in Euro Fantasy now, aren't we? So Rodri. Rodri for me is a great pick. 6.5 million. He is, in my opinion, the best 6.5 million midfield choice in the game. He is nailed on. We know he's going to play every game. It's kind of tough opening fixtures against Croatia and Italy, but he is the Spain penalty taker. He scored twice, 2 goals against Brazil in the March friendly penalties, 5.43 ball recoveries per game, which is actually a good thing that he's playing against difficult oppositions, because when you're playing against tougher oppositions, you're going to have slightly less possession, and then you're going to be more able to get ball recovery points. So I think that's actually something that plays into Rodri's hands a little bit there. 1 assist in qualifying as well, and he's just added more goals and assists to his game for Man City recently. He's the best cheap midfielder in the game, and therefore he is a great pick. Next up, Phil Foden, FPL legend this year, indeed, but is he a great pick? For me, no. He's a solid pick. And he's going to go down here with the likes of Modric. And the reason is no goals and just 2 assists in qualifying. And I just think with Foden, it's never fully clicked for him with England. Maybe just England do not play to his strengths necessarily. And you do think if Bellingham is again going to start as the central attacking midfielder, if you like, then Foden, again, is he going to be wasted a little bit if he is playing out wide? Because Foden is just so much better through those central areas, isn't he? So I don't know. I think at 9 million, you need a player who has performed for their country, gives you confidence, and you can go into, you know, get a match day 1 in your fantasy team with confidence that this player has produced before, they'll produce again, and you know what you're getting. And at 9 million, Foden does not give you that. So he's solid. He definitely can give you results, but it's a little too expensive, man. If Foden is 8 million, 8.5, we talk about him a lot more, but solid, no more. Next up, Wirtz. Probably the best Germany attacker to go for, you would say. Maybe you'd throw Kai Havertz in that conversation as well, but I think we put Wirtz in around here. 1 goal and 2 assists in 9 friendly games since the World Cup. Nailed on for Germany. Good domestic campaign with Leverkusen. Price is not too bad. 7.5 million. That's 1 million cheaper than Musiala. And he gives you a captain option on day 1 as well. Hopefully you guys know by now how captaincy works in Euro Fantasy. But you basically get to pick a new captain each day of the week, pretty much. And on the first day of the tournament, the only fixture is Germany versus Scotland. So ideally, you would like to have a captain for that Germany versus Scotland game, a player from Germany or Scotland. I think Wirtz, with his, you know, not too bad returns, I mean, he's not world-beating or anything like that. There's a lot of players on this tier list who have much better return rates for their nations, but it's not bad, and the price isn't bad. So, the captaincy, solid. Which leaves us with just one player, Jude Bellingham, obviously Champions League winner. Is he a must-have? He's the most popular Euro Fantasy asset. About half of Euro Fantasy managers right now have Jude Bellingham in their team. But is he a must-have? Well, I'm not sure he is. 2 assists in 4 qualifying games. Both of them were against Italy, in fairness. But he did get 2 goals and an assist in a recent friendlies against Scotland and Belgium. He's performing well against tough opposition, as we've kind of seen there. And he may be able to sneak some ball recovery points as well. He's not going to be a Rodri. He's not going to be a Rice or a Tchouaméni in terms of ball recovery points in midfield. But he could get some. He could get the occasional point. And I just don't know. I'm not sure, 100% sure where he's going to be playing. If he's going to be playing advanced, if he's going to be playing it more as a number 8. 9.5 million is risky for him. I don't think he really should be the most popular midfield pick. I don't think he should be in half of Euro Fantasy teams, but he is still a great pick. We know what he's about. We know the ability he has, and we know he can be a hero during the Euros, but I don't know if we can go any further than that until we see a little bit more evidence at the international stage. So all eyes on Bellingham. He's certainly a great pick, but prefer Saka. Yeah, 1 million cheaper right now. I think things can change. You know, I think in fairness, when we look at a lot of these players, particularly a lot of the players who aren't fully nailed on in their teams, you do wonder if some of them are going to maybe start slow or maybe build into the tournament and become better fantasy options as the tournament goes on. But talking about match day 1, trying to minimize the risks that we're taking and try and gather information, I think we stick with the tried and tested, and that's why we've got some of the safer picks towards the top of this tier list. But hopefully, guys, I've got things about right. Let me know your opinions on the players, where I've placed them. If you think I've placed anyone incorrectly, please do let me know. And if there's any players we haven't spoken about today, let me know about that as well. One more thing, I am actually pre-recording this video because right now, as you watch this video, I'm actually away on holiday. So if anything's changed during the warm-up games or if there is any injuries unexpected, then I do apologize for that, but had to pre-record some content so I could go away and have a few days break. Otherwise my mind would probably explode, but never mind. Guys, check out the other forwards tier list video, and if you love these tier list videos, let me know. We'll do defenders and goalkeepers as well. But aside from that, thank you so much for watching today, guys. Do make sure you drop a like, do subscribe for regular fantasy content. We're going to be doing content pretty much daily for Euro Fantasy at this point, so make sure you stick around for that. Check out another video if you like to, and aside from that, thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you later. Thanks. Bye bye.